Welcome back to Coffee and Tea with CarrieVee. I am CarrieVee, your biggest fan, the person who will believe in you even when you don't believe in yourself. Coffee and Tea with CarrieVee is all things leadership, communication, confidence, and clarity, and real life conversations with you. Today, we're talking about dealing with difficult people. And I'm going to start this episode off with a story, a true story, something that I experienced last week. I was driving home from a training that I had provided for a small business in Ithaca, New York. And coming home from that training, I stopped at a farm stand. It was a beautiful building, and I knew inside they would have not only really nice fresh fruits and vegetables, but also local artisan things like candles and yard decorations. It's just one of those cool shops that if you know, you know. And if you're like me, those stops are always a fun thing to add into your travels. And I had seen it on my way to the training, and I immediately started looking forward to stopping there on my way home. To get to this training, I went back country roads. It was a beautiful drive. And I just thought on my way home, that would be the coolest place to stop to get some fresh fruits and vegetables and maybe even some homemade fresh kombucha for the rest of the ride. I just was looking forward to it. It was a hot day, and stopping at this farm stand seemed like the best decision to make for my drive home, and I really was looking forward to it. So I started on my ride home, and I knew I was going to get there at about 20 to 25 minutes into my ride, and I saw the stand on my ride home, and I pulled in, so excited to go in and see what they had in this store. And I went in and I started looking around at all the fresh fruits and vegetables. They had tomatoes that made my mouth start watering the minute I saw them. You know, those tomatoes that are juicy, and well, you can't really tell that they're juicy by looking at them, but maybe you can. They're just big and round and red and absolutely perfect, not a blemish on them. And you pick them up and you can just smell that tomato smell, when you touch the stem of a tomato, what that smells like. And I put some of those in my basket. They had fresh cucumbers, they had fresh squash, they had apricots and apples, Honeycrisp apples, which, oh, a Honeycrisp apple dipped in peanut butter and honey, you can't go wrong. I just was having so much fun going around. Each one was marked where they came from, which local farmer had brought these things in. Peaches, I got fresh peaches that just looked so amazing. Can't wait. I'm actually going to have one today. I just, it was such a great store. And I went and I bought fresh eggs. And then I started looking at some of the other things. And then as I was getting ready to check out, I looked over and to my left, there were these great big muffins. And I thought, oh, my husband would love one of those muffins. So I picked one of those up too. And the woman who owned the shop, who was also there working and would be running my items through the cashier, um, came over, and she said to me, she asked me if I found everything. She probably is very nice. She asked me if I found everything. Did I need anything? We went through all of that. And then she said, will you be paying by cash or card? And I said, card. Now here's the thing. I have cards that give me points. And so I use my credit card whenever possible because I like those points. We have one card that is a Disney Chase card, and we go to on a Disney vacation, we average about every other year. That's really kind of how it works out. And so we just use those cards and we save all our points. And then before we go to Disney, we put it all onto a card that allows us to shop in the stores around all of the resorts in Orlando and in downtown Disney, which isn't called downtown Disney anymore. Oh, Disney Springs. And we get to do all of this cool shopping for our grandkids and not spend any money because it's money we've earned. So I use those cards. And if you're smart, we have an airline card too, like tap into those things, but that's not what this is about. So we'll move on past that. So I said card. And then I said, I made a very, all I asked was, is there a discount for using cash? And she said, no. And she said it in such a way that it kind of made me take a step back, and I said, "Oh, okay." And she said, "But of course I prefer that you use cash." And I looked at her again and I said, yes, I understand. And before I could say anything, she said, because credit card rates are ridiculous. And with the 4th of July holiday, which had just passed, everything went up. They took those rates way up over the 4th, and things are just now starting to come back down, but they're not back down to where they were. And she just went off on a tangent of negativity about New York State, which is the state we live in, and the laws that have been passed for business owners, how they have to double price everything, the price with if you pay with credit card and the price you pay without. But her store has like 2,000 items in it. And so doing that was very prohibitive. And so they just decided to not do anything, and they just charge the same price, cash or credit. She said, "You have no idea what credit card fees are like." And she went off on a tangent again. And I once she finally gave me a chance to speak, I said, "I do understand credit card fees. I have my own business. People pay me with credit cards almost all the time. I very rarely get paid with cash or check or have something transferred from a checking account because everybody kind of likes their credit card points. Even businesses love their credit card points. And so they pay business to business, even pay credit card, but almost all of my fees are paid through a credit card. And yes, I get hit, I'll use that in air quotes if you're not watching me live, with credit card fees, and I can claim those on my taxes, which becomes a write-off, those credit card fees. So you you get hit with them, you pay them on one side, you claim them on the other side, which she didn't want to hear anything about. I didn't bring anything up. She just brought that up. Well, people tell me all the time, I'm just going to get these back, and you don't get them back. The thing is, I'm out the money now. And this is ridiculous. And up, the dogs even agree with me over here. And she said, if they wouldn't make us double price everything, but I can't offer a discount now. I can't just say if you pay with a credit card, you get a discount. And so I was telling her how my nail salon that I go to has a sign up that says, due to rising credit card fees, whenever you can pay with cash, whenever it's possible, we truly appreciate it. And that's all there is to it. And when I'm there getting my nails done, which I don't do very often anymore, but I used to go quite regularly, especially when my mother was living. It was something we did every 2 weeks. Almost everyone paid with cash, but some people still prefer to pay with card. Nobody ever said a word. They just had that sign up. Due to rising credit card fees, whenever possible, please pay with cash. And she took a step back and she said, I guess I could do something like that. But she was angry and she was bitter, and it made my experience very, very unenjoyable. I left feeling not the sense of just picking up fresh vegetables and fresh kombucha and a cool muffin for Gabe. And I just left feeling actually angry that this negative attitude had so infiltrated my brain and infiltrated how I intended that afternoon to be. And I was angry. And the whole way home, when you start thinking about how you're going to start sharing this story and how you're going to spin this story and how you're going to use it. Well, if you're like me, how you're going to use it from stage someday, and this is going to be a part of what you bring to people and how to not have a negative attitude. But by the time I got home, which was about another 25 or 30 minutes, by the time I got home, my mindset really had shifted quite a bit. And it had shifted like this. This was a woman who was bitter. She was angry. She was scared. And those feelings really attacked how she was approaching life and how she was approaching her business. New laws had been passed that made things very difficult for her, and almost no one pays with cash anymore. Now that day, because I was really reading the room, I said, look, I'll pay with cash. It helped diffuse the situation a little bit. It gave her a little bit of joy in the day, and it wasn't that big of a deal to me at the time. Actually, I just thought if I paid cash, maybe I can get out of the store quick enough. It's hard to deal with the negativity of others. I mean, in that case, I could just say, and this is what I said as I left the store, I will never shop there again. Now I'm looking forward to taking that trip again, which I will, because there's a great Trader Joe's up that road too. When you get to Ithaca, New York, I will stop there again. But I will stop with flowers and a card of encouragement and more of an open mind and an open heart to talk with her some more. What she really wanted was to feel respected and loved and in control. And what she did not feel was respected by the state in which she lived and did business and in control of a situation. She wasn't in control. You had to follow the rules that were set down. I run a service industry. It's much different than an industry where you have 2,000 products in a store and going through and trying to double price all of those and trying to explain to people why it's important whenever you can to pay cash or a small business. Negativity is a cry for help, disguised, but it's a cry for help to feel respected, loved, and in control. That's what people want. So when you're dealing with negative people, instead of just writing them off, like I was ready to write this lady off, I was ready to write this business off, I was ready to just spin this story as I went in there happy and she wanted to bring my mood down and I refused to let her down and I'll never go back there again. That's how my head was spinning it. Now my head is really spinning it in a very different way. This woman just wanted to feel like she was in control. She just wanted to feel loved and respected. And she wasn't feeling any of those things. You're going to run into people like this in your life. You are going to come across them in stores, in restaurants, in gas stations, probably even in your own household and your own place of employment. People turn negative when they feel like they're out of control. People turn negative when they feel like they're not respected. And people turn negative when they don't feel loved. So instead of making the story against them, make the story for them. How can you leave people better than you found them? How can you take the negativity and turn it into something positive in your life and theirs? How can you help them feel loved and respected and in control? Can you offer solutions? The one tiny solution that I talked about that my nail tech does with her sign or with their sign, as I was leaving, she said, "Thank you for sharing that with me. I'm going to put that sign up." Try to help them see a solution. Help them feel that love, that respect, that control. You can offer that much. Always leave people better than you found them when you do that, when you value people with that level of value. Their world changes, and so does yours. I was humbled, very humbled, when I really realized the level of anger that I was feeling and the level of "I'll get you, I'll never shop there again" that I was feeling. And I was glad that I had the car silent and I was really thinking about the situation because by the time I got home, I couldn't wait to go back and give her a card and say, "Look, you're doing a great job. And I know this is really hard. How can I help? How can I help?" When you ask people that simple phrase, "How can I help?" maybe they won't have an answer right away, but they'll start thinking about it. Be the person they can come to. Be the person that will love them, even when they're being difficult. Especially when they're being difficult. It's not easy dealing with difficult people, but valuing people, loving them, cherishing them, it's so worth it. It is so worth it. So my challenge to you today is to, in every situation that you face, from now and every day you have going forward, leave people better than you found them. If you find them without a smile, give them one. And if you find them with a smile, leave them with a bigger one. Listen to them and understand that that negativity is this disguised cry for help. Negativity is always a cry for help. And we don't know everything that somebody else has gone through. Even if we think we know them better than anybody else, we still don't know everything. So show them you love them. Show them you value them. Will you ever spiral like I did? Probably. We're human beings. But allow yourself to humbly catch that spiral and turn it around. so that we can move forward, making this world a better place for our families, for our coworkers, for ourselves, for our dogs. Your journal prompt today is, how can I make the world better for others? How can I make the world better for others? I'm CarrieVee, your biggest fan, and I can't wait to hear your feedback on this episode. Apparently, my little princess Isabella already wants me to give feedback. I don't ever edit these things out. This is real life. Dogs bark in the background, babies cry, things drop. It happens. Be a leader, be a communicator, be the best version of yourself, and help the world be a better place.